Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak about a battle that each and every one of us faces in our daily lives. It is a battle that doesn't always appear obvious, with no enemy holding weapons or grand visible confrontations. Yet, it is a silent, ongoing battle, one we may not even realize we are fighting. This battle exists not just outside of us, but deep within our hearts and minds. We often think of evil as the image of a horned creature with a pitchfork, a symbol of clear and easily identifiable malevolence. But in reality, evil is far more subtle. It appears in ways that are often alluring, sometimes so comfortable that we don't even realize we are being deceived. It can come in the form of gentle temptations, seductive promises, or small deviations in our thinking that gradually pull us away from the values we once held dear. Evil also manifests itself as the mental and emotional challenges we face every day. It's when we become entangled in self-deception, making choices that seem harmless at first, but eventually lead us down a path of wrong decisions. Temptation isn't always ugly. In fact, it can be quite appealing, luring us into its traps without us even noticing. And it's in these moments when we face the challenges posed by evil that we must realize the greatest battle we are fighting is not against enemies from outside, but against the forces of evil impacting our own lives and souls. This battle is relentless, happening everywhere, in our relationships, in the decisions we make, and even in the thoughts and emotions we struggle to control. It's not just about the obvious wrongdoings we witness in the world. It's far more subtle and quiet. And if we are not vigilant and aware, we may lose ourselves long before we even realize it. So, the most important message I want to share with you today is this. Recognizing and fighting against evil is not an easy battle, but it's a battle we must be prepared to face every single day. By understanding the true nature of evil and the tactics it uses to deceive and manipulate us, we can learn to identify it and avoid falling into its traps. This battle requires us to be spiritually awake, not just recognizing the external evils in the world, but also controlling ourselves and holding firmly to our values in the face of even the most subtle influences. Today, I want to talk about something crucial for all of us, the battle we face every day. It is not a battle that always presents itself openly. There are no enemies holding weapons, no grand confrontations. Instead, it is a silent, continuous battle, one we might not even realize we are fighting. This battle happens not just outside of us, but deep within our hearts and minds. To win any battle, the most important thing is to correctly identify the enemy. But in the fight against evil, this is not always easy. Evil doesn't always wear a recognizable form. It doesn't appear with horns, a pitchfork, or an ugly face to easily warn us. In reality, evil can show up in subtle and unpredictable ways. This subtlety is what makes it more dangerous because we may not even recognize it at first. The subtle nature of evil is something we need to be aware of. It isn't always about blatant wrongdoings or major mistakes. It can creep in through the smallest things, through decisions that seem harmless, a small lie, or even compromises we make with our values. These forms of evil are easy to overlook, but over time, they erode our inner values and destroy the moral foundation we once relied on. Imagine evil as a slow-acting poison. At first, it might just be a drop, something that doesn't seem harmful right away. But as time goes on, those drops accumulate and they begin to rot the system from the inside. By the time we realize it, the entire system has collapsed and we don't even know when or how it happened. The subtle nature of evil often comes disguised as something alluring. Sometimes it brings sweet promises, initial comfort, making us believe we are on the right path. But those early temptations are the traps that slowly pull us away from our core values. These are the decisions made for short-term gain or promises of ease and convenience that eventually lead to far more serious consequences. For example, we might justify telling a small lie, thinking it's not a big deal. But it's from these small deviations, these quiet compromises, that we slowly drift away from the truth. Often it's the smallest actions that become the roots of much larger destruction. As our moral compass is eroded bit by bit, our identity and integrity are also slowly transformed. Evil doesn't always act through grand gestures, but often infiltrates the tiniest details of our lives. It can start with envy, a harmless lie, or selfish decisions that we justify by saying, "This doesn't hurt anyone." But it's those small changes in thought, in our attitude, that can lead to deep wounds in our inner selves and relationships. As our nature shifts in a negative direction, we find ourselves being drawn into a destructive cycle. Hidden forms of evil. The insidious nature of evil works like a slow breakdown from the inside. When we are not vigilant, when we are not fully aware of how subtle evil can be, it starts to creep into our closest relationships and core values. Small changes in our behavior and attitude can slowly erode integrity, honesty, and even self-respect. What's even more frightening is that we often don't realize the damage until everything has fallen apart. For example, think of a close friend you've always trusted. One day, that friend lies to you, just a small lie. At first, you may brush it off as a minor mistake. But if it continues, that lie begins to eat away at the trust you've built. Over time, the relationship is destroyed, and everything you once had becomes meaningless. This is how evil works. It creeps in quietly, bit by bit, and destroys from within. Similarly, when we are not mindful of our small daily actions, evil can erode the values we hold dear. A single lie, a lack of honesty, or a self-serving action that seems insignificant at first can eventually shake the foundation of our moral character and dignity. As we allow these small wrongdoings to accumulate, what happens? What starts as a fleeting mistake begins to form a pattern of behavior. And as our moral and spiritual compass is manipulated, these small deviations can lead to the complete collapse of our integrity, dignity, and even our most important relationships. Evil doesn't always reveal itself openly. It can hide behind appealing promises, small compromises, and subtle shifts in our thoughts and actions. If we are not cautious, if we fail to recognize that these small changes can lead to greater harm, we risk falling into the trap of internal destruction. To fight against evil, we must first learn to identify the enemy. Start with the small things. Be alert to the subtle shifts in your thoughts and actions. Only when we are awake and aware of these hidden threats can we stand firm against the traps set by evil. To win any battle, we not only need to identify the enemy, but also understand the tactics it employs. The battle against evil in life is no different. Evil does not appear before us in obvious ways, nor does it use easily recognizable strategies. Instead, it often operates through deceit and manipulation, subtle methods that influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. If we fail to recognize these tactics in time, we can easily fall victim to them without even realizing it. Deceit and how it operates. When we think of deceit, we often imagine grand lies or obvious schemes. However, the truth is that subtle deceit doesn't begin with large-scale lies. It starts with small untruths, little compromises that eventually grow into something much bigger. We may not realize we are being deceived because it often starts with small thoughts or actions. Sometimes we even deceive ourselves or accept half-truths. Imagine deceit as a small stream of water seeping into a crack in a dam. At first, the flow is light, almost harmless, but over time it weakens the structure of the entire dam. Eventually, the dam bursts, causing a disaster no one could have predicted. Similarly, deceit often begins with minor lies or compromises with our conscience, and little by little, we stray further from the truth we once held dear. A clear example of subtle deceit is when we tell small lies to ourselves or compromise the values we once stood by. Perhaps we ignore a small principle or accept a wrong action, justifying it as insignificant. Yet these small actions compound, leading us down a path of larger mistakes, eventually resulting in spiritual collapse and destroying the trust we once had in ourselves. Our enemy not only uses deceit to lead us astray, but also manipulates our emotions to maintain control. One of the most powerful weapons evil uses to manipulate us is fear and doubt. Emotional manipulation, fear and doubt. Fear is one of the strongest emotions humans can experience. When we are afraid, we lose our sense of direction and struggle to make decisive actions. Fear can make us lose faith in ourselves, in what we believe, and even in the core values we hold. Evil knows this and uses fear to weaken our resolve. Fear often comes hand in hand with doubt. When our emotions are manipulated, we begin to doubt ourselves, our decisions, our capabilities, and even our own worth. This doubt is one of evil's most potent tools, because when we doubt, we become lost and lack the confidence to make wise choices. Let me share a practical example. Imagine you are facing a major decision in life. Perhaps it's changing jobs, moving to a new place, or making an important family decision. Initially, you have a clear plan and trust in your choice. But then fear creeps in. You begin to worry that you might fail, that things may not go as planned. Doubt starts to seep into your thoughts, and soon enough, you are no longer sure of your decision. Gradually, you lose direction, uncertain whether to continue with your original plan or abandon it entirely. This is how evil works through emotional manipulation. When we let fear and doubt control our thoughts, we lose the ability to distinguish right from wrong, and as a result, we may be led into poor decisions. The solution: recognizing truth and facing fear. However, we are not helpless victims of this deceit and manipulation. To fight against evil, we must recognize the truth and face fear with a steadfast belief in ourselves and in spiritual guidance. First, we need to ask ourselves, are these feelings of fear and doubt based on reality, or are they the result of emotional manipulation? Take the time to pause, reflect, and listen to your inner self. Examine whether these negative thoughts are truly grounded in experience or simply magnified by fear. Another way to combat deceit is by seeking the truth. This can be done through prayer, meditation, or simply spending time reflecting on your own life. Trust in the guidance of the Creator, and your spiritual compass will help you discern where evil is at play and where small lies might be leading you astray. Moreover, we must face fear with courage. Fear is not inherently bad, but it becomes dangerous when we avoid confronting it, allowing it to dominate our lives. Draw strength from your spiritual values and remember that faith in yourself and in the Creator will help you overcome any challenge. Deceit and manipulation can come at us from many directions in life. We can be deceived by small lies or manipulated by fear and doubt. However, as long as we maintain clear awareness of the truth and stay firm in our beliefs, we can face evil without losing our way. The key to victory lies in clarity, emotional control, and unwavering faith in ourselves. In order to win any battle, we not only need to identify the enemy, but also understand the tactics it uses. The same applies to the battle against evil in life. Evil doesn't always present itself in obvious ways, nor does it employ easily recognizable strategies. Instead, evil often uses deception and manipulation, subtle methods to control our thoughts, emotions, and actions. If we don't recognize these tactics in time, we can easily become victims of these schemes without even realizing it. Deception and how it operates. When we think of deception, we often imagine grand lies or obvious schemes. However, the truth is, deception often begins with small lies, small compromises, which gradually build into something much larger. We may not even realize we're being deceived because it often starts with subtle thoughts or actions. And sometimes we deceive ourselves by accepting half-truths. Think of deception like a small stream of water slowly seeping into a crack in a dam. At first, the flow is minor, almost harmless, but over time it weakens the entire structure of the dam. Eventually, the dam bursts, causing an unforeseen disaster. Similarly, deception often begins with minor lies, small compromises with our conscience, and little by little, we move further away from the truth we once respected. A prime example of subtle deception is when we tell small lies about ourselves or compromise the values we once held dear. Perhaps we dismiss a small principle or justify a wrong action as unimportant, but those small actions create a pattern of greater mistakes, leading to spiritual collapse and even destroying the trust we've built in ourselves. Our enemy doesn't just use deception to lead us astray. It also knows how to manipulate our emotions to maintain control. One of the most powerful weapons that evil uses for manipulation is fear and doubt. Emotional manipulation, fear and doubt. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions a human can experience. When we are afraid, we lose direction and struggle to act decisively. Fear can make us lose confidence in ourselves, in what we believe, and even in our core values. Evil knows this and uses fear to weaken our ability to resist. Fear often comes hand in hand with doubt. When our emotions are manipulated, we begin to doubt ourselves, our decisions, our abilities, even our worth. This doubt becomes a powerful tool for evil because when we are filled with doubt, we are easily misled and lose the confidence needed to make wise choices. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you are facing a major decision in life, perhaps changing jobs, moving to a new place, or making an important family decision. At first, you have a clear plan and trust your decision. But then fear creeps in. You start to worry that you might fail, that things won't go as planned. Doubt seeps into your thoughts, and soon enough, you are no longer sure about your decision. Gradually, you lose direction, unsure whether to continue with your original plan or change course entirely. This is how evil operates through emotional manipulation. When we allow fear and doubt to control our thoughts, we lose the ability to discern right from wrong. And as a result, we may make poor choices. The solution: recognizing the truth and facing fear. However, we are not helpless victims of deception and manipulation. To combat evil, we must recognize the truth and face fear with unwavering belief in ourselves and spiritual guidance. First, we need to ask ourselves, are these feelings of fear and doubt real, or are they simply the result of emotional manipulation? Take time to pause, reflect, and listen to your inner self. Examine whether these negative thoughts are truly grounded in experience or merely the result of fear being magnified. Another way to combat deception is to always seek the truth. This can be achieved through prayer, meditation, or simply taking time to reflect on our lives. Trust in the guidance of the Creator and our spiritual compass will help us identify where evil is at play and where small deceptions might lead to spiritual collapse. Additionally, we must face fear with courage. Fear is not inherently negative, but it becomes dangerous when we avoid confronting it, allowing it to dominate our lives. Draw strength from your spiritual values and remember that faith in yourself and in the Creator will help you overcome any challenge. Deception and manipulation can come from many directions in our lives. We may be deceived by small lies or manipulated by fear and doubt. However, as long as we maintain clear awareness of the truth and stand firm in our beliefs, we can face evil without losing our way. The key to victory lies in clarity, emotional control, and unwavering faith in ourselves. Today, I want to talk about a battle that we all face in our daily lives. One of the most dangerous impacts that evil brings is not just deception or emotional manipulation, but also division and disconnection. Evil doesn't only seek to weaken individuals, it seeks to destroy the relationships between people. Division is one of the most powerful tools that evil uses to strip away our collective strength, dissolve unity, and make us vulnerable. Division and conflict in relationships. When we think of evil, we often imagine conflicts, hostilities, or large-scale confrontations. However, in reality, division often begins with small misunderstandings in our everyday relationships. What may seem harmless, an unkind word, jealousy, or even envy, can gradually lead to distance and division between people. This is the subtle nature of evil. When we drift apart from one another, we lose the collective strength we need to resist it. Imagine a team working together toward a common goal. When all the members are united and cooperating, they create a powerful force that no enemy can easily weaken. But once division begins, whether through small conflicts or unresolved misunderstandings, the strength of that unity fades. Personal conflicts start to rise, and from there, evil can easily take over because there is no longer a unified front to stand against it. In personal relationships such as family, friendships, or work, Division can arise from the smallest things. A careless word, a thoughtless action, or even a lack of communication can lead to deep wounds. Evil takes advantage of these opportunities to stir up conflict and increase the distance between us. Minor conflicts, if left unresolved, eventually become unbridgeable gaps, weakening our ability to stand together against evil. The importance of unity, we must recognize that true strength lies in unity. Unity is not just about people being connected, it's about spiritual connection and the ability to face and overcome the challenges that life brings. When we are united, we can confront evil with greater strength and are less likely to be shaken. In the Bible, we see clear examples of the power of unity. Ecclesiastes 4:12 tells us, "A cord of 3 strands is not easily broken." This reminds us that when we stand together, we become far stronger than when we stand alone. Evil cannot break our unity when we rise together. Conversely, when we allow division to take root, evil amplifies differences, intensifies conflicts, and gradually weakens the spiritual and social foundation we've built. Division causes us to lose trust, stop communicating, and cease helping one another, leading to the slow erosion of our collective strength. Overcoming division. So how do we overcome division and reconnect with each other? How do we heal the wounds caused by evil and reestablish unity among people? Seek reconciliation. The first step in healing division is to seek reconciliation. This requires humility to acknowledge our mistakes and an open heart to forgive others. When we refuse to let evil fracture our relationships, we open the door to restore connection and rebuild trust. Be open and communicate. Many times, misunderstandings and divisions come from a lack of communication. When we fail to understand the perspectives of others, we are quick to judge and reach false conclusions. By being open and listening, we can find common ground and build bridges between our differences. Honest and respectful communication is the key to overcoming division. Preserve the spirit of unity. Unity is not just the absence of division. It's the ability to support one another in times of difficulty. When we stand together, share hardships, and offer mutual assistance, we not only help others, but also strengthen the bond between us. The spirit of unity will prevent evil from isolating us and making us weak. Evil often seeks to cause division and create conflict in our relationships, weakening the strength of our unity. However, by seeking reconciliation, fostering open communication, and preserving the spirit of unity, we can overcome division and stand strong against evil. True strength lies in our connection and our ability to stand together in the fight against darkness. In the battle against evil, our strength does not come solely from determination, but from our ability to stay awake and recognize the dangers that threaten us. Awakening is not just a physical act. It's a deep awareness of what is happening in our minds and in the world around us. We must not only wake up, but maintain a constant state of alertness to identify evil in all its forms and control ourselves in every situation. Self-awareness and inner control. One of the most crucial aspects of this battle is self-awareness. We must continuously examine ourselves and our inner world to be aware of what is happening in our thoughts and emotions. Evil does not only come from the outside, it can infiltrate our minds, altering our thoughts, emotions, and attitudes without us realizing it. Controlling our thoughts and emotions is a key step in maintaining a clear and alert mind. We need to understand that negative emotions such as anger, fear, envy, or jealousy can be signs that we are being led by evil. These emotions, if not controlled, can easily overwhelm our rational mind and lead us into making wrong decisions. Self-awareness requires us to constantly observe ourselves. When we realize we are harboring negative thoughts, we must pause and ask ourselves, is this the right path? Does this emotion truly reflect the truth? This reflex will help us avoid falling into the traps of evil and stay honest with ourselves. Take, for example, a moment when you feel angry with someone due to a misunderstanding. Before reacting, take a step back and ask yourself whether that anger is truly justified. Is it the result of an unfair action by someone else? Or does it come from unrealistic expectations you have set? By looking at the situation from multiple perspectives, we can handle our emotions more rationally, preventing evil from manipulating us. The importance of prayer and reflection. In the process of awakening and self-awareness, prayer and reflection play an essential role. Prayer is how we connect with the Creator, seeking guidance and wisdom. When we pray, we not only ask for protection from evil, but also for the strength to resist temptations and face the challenges ahead. Reflection gives us time to be still and review what has happened. It allows us to reflect on decisions and actions that may have been influenced by evil and which ones truly reflect our core values. Reflection helps us not only correct our mistakes, but also learn from past experiences, making us more alert in the future. Prayer and reflection guide us to focus on what truly matters in life. We do not only seek help from above, we also draw strength from within to face any trials that come our way. Awakening the power of discernment and spiritual strength. In the fight against evil, the ability to discern between right and wrong is critical. Discernment isn't just about knowing what's good and what's bad. It's about recognizing evil in its most subtle forms. Evil doesn't always appear obvious. Sometimes it's disguised as something good or in the form of personal gain. Without discernment, we can easily be deceived and fall into evil's traps. For example, we may do something we think is good for ourselves, but in reality, it could be a sweet temptation that leads to short-term satisfaction but costs us long-term value. It could be selfishness disguised as self-care or betrayal cloaked in the guise of loyalty. We need clear discernment to avoid being drawn into these deceptions. Spiritual strength helps us stand firm, unshaken by temptations. To gain this strength, we must train our minds, our intellect, and our willpower. A strong spirit doesn't mean being fearless. It means knowing how to face fear and not letting it control us. When we stand firm in our beliefs, we can resist all temptations and face any hardship. Discerning the truth, learning to identify what is real. In life, truth and deception often intertwine. To discern between them, we must train our ability to look deeper, which requires us to examine situations from all angles. Sometimes the truth isn't immediately obvious. It takes deep thought and careful consideration. For instance, when faced with a difficult decision, instead of focusing on short-term results, we need to look at the long-term consequences. Ask yourself, does this align with my core values? Will this help me grow? Or is it just a temporary gratification? Awakening requires us to constantly question ourselves and seek the truth in every situation. The truth may not always be pleasant, but only the truth can free us from the deception and manipulation of evil. The importance of discernment. Discernment not only helps us recognize evil, but it also helps us maintain honesty and integrity in our thoughts and actions. Upholding honesty is not just a moral principle, it is a shield that protects us from deception. When we live truthfully with ourselves and stay firm in our spiritual values, evil cannot shake us. In Philippians 4:8, the scripture reminds us, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, think about such things. This is a reminder to keep our minds and hearts focused on what is good, avoiding the pull of temptation. The battle against evil requires not just spiritual strength, but also the vigilance to recognize and understand what is happening around us. Self-awareness, inner control, and spiritual strength are what allow us to stand firm against the temptations and manipulations of evil. Discernment, a steadfast faith, and a clear mind will be the keys to our victory in this fight. As we recognize the presence of evil, awaken to its reality, and prepare ourselves to fight it, the final step we must take is to walk in power and confidence. This is not merely a physical action, but a mental and spiritual state that enables us not only to face challenges, but to overcome them with strength and decisiveness, recognizing our own power. One of the most important aspects of walking confidently is recognizing the power we hold within. True power does not come from physical strength alone, but from the ability to control ourselves and stand firm in the face of temptations and trials. Self-control is the clearest sign of internal power, for when we can master our thoughts, emotions, and actions, nothing can shake us. In life, real power is not about manipulating or controlling others. it lies in controlling ourselves. Self-control allows us to maintain honesty, remain steadfast, and resist external influences. Confidence comes from knowing we can face any difficulty without needing validation or approval from others. A perfect example of inner power is how we respond to criticism or provocation. Instead of reacting impulsively and letting anger take over, we can choose to remain calm and control our emotions. This shows not only strength of character, but also demonstrates that we are in control of our lives. Confidence does not come from avoiding difficulties. It comes from staying resolute when facing them. When we trust in our own abilities, we can overcome any challenge because we no longer doubt our strength. Acting with courage. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means taking bold action despite the presence of fear. In our battle against evil, we will always encounter trials that cause us to feel uneasy, anxious, or even afraid. However, courage is about confronting these fears and moving forward with unwavering faith. Courage is displayed when we use our voice to stand up for truth and justice, even when it may lead to opposition or criticism. When we speak with confidence and conviction, we not only transform our own lives, but also inspire those around us to do the same. We must not allow fear to paralyze us. Instead, we must remember that behind every fear lies an opportunity for growth. Courage is not just about overcoming great fears, but also about making the small daily decisions that allow us to uphold our values and not lose ourselves in difficult circumstances. Maintaining faith and resisting evil's influence. One of the most critical elements of walking in confidence and power is maintaining faith. Faith is the foundation that helps us stand firm through all trials. When we believe that we are walking the righteous path and that we are guided by the Creator, we cannot easily be swayed by evil. Courage in the face of adversity is the result of faith. When confronted with significant challenges, we must look to our faith for the strength to continue moving forward. We may not always see the outcome, but faith assures us that no matter how difficult the journey, God's guidance will lead us to the right destination. When we place our faith in God and in ourselves, we can overcome any obstacle. It is vital not to let evil exploit doubt or fear to shake our beliefs. Always remember, truth and justice will ultimately triumph over evil, and we have the strength to stand firm in this battle. Practical solutions: prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting are practical solutions that help us strengthen our spiritual power and deepen our connection with the Creator. When we pray, we are not only seeking protection and guidance, but also creating a space of inner peace where we can hear what God is speaking to us. Fasting, long recognized as a means of spiritual discipline, teaches us to control ourselves and not let material things distract our spirit. By setting aside unnecessary distractions, we learn to master our desires and keep our minds focused on higher truths. Prayer and fasting cleanse our spirits, keeping our minds and hearts aligned with the truth and resisting the temptations that evil places before us. Thus, walking in power and confidence is not a one-time action, but a continuous state of mind that we must nurture. True power does not come from controlling others. It comes from mastering ourselves. When we face fear with courage, when we hold fast to our faith, and when we refuse to let evil shake us, we find the strength to overcome any challenge. Prayer and fasting are valuable tools that help us maintain our spirit, strengthen our connection with God, and reaffirm our personal values in the fight against evil. Walking in power and confidence not only helps us achieve victory in this battle, but also grants us a life of peace, stability, and hope. After journeying together through the exploration of our battle against evil in life, it becomes clear that every one of us faces spiritual and psychological challenges on a daily basis. These challenges, whether subtle or overt, stem from the cunning dangers that evil brings into our lives. However, the most important realization we've made is this: we are not mere victims in this fight. Each of us has the strength and capability to rise, confront, and ultimately defeat the evil forces we encounter in our lives. We began by learning to identify the enemy and understanding the insidious nature of evil. Evil doesn't always manifest itself in obvious forms, but often creeps in through small temptations, harmless lies, or subtle shifts in our thoughts and emotions. Yet as long as we remain awakened and aware of what is happening within our minds, we can resist the deceit and manipulation of evil. Moreover, we delved into the impact of division and disconnection in our lives. Division is one of the most dangerous tools that evil uses to weaken both individuals and society. However, if we maintain a spirit of unity, seek reconciliation, and communicate openly, we can overcome division and together build a stronger spiritual foundation. More importantly, we learned how to fight against evil through awakening and self-awareness. We must continuously reflect on our inner selves, control our emotions, and reflect deeply on our actions to distinguish between right and wrong. The ability to discern and hold on to honesty is the key to avoiding the subtle traps that evil lays before us. When we recognize our own strength, when we stand firm in faith and refuse to let fear shake our spirit, we can overcome every obstacle that evil throws our way. Prayer and fasting serve as powerful solutions that connect us more deeply with the Creator, providing the spiritual strength needed to emerge victorious in this battle. The fight against evil is not a one-time battle, but a continuous journey throughout life. Every day we must be vigilant and awake to temptations and spiritual challenges. It is important not to let any threat prevent you from living your purpose. Always check your inner self, keep your faith, and seek the truth in every situation. I call on each of us to walk the path of integrity together, becoming a light not only in our own lives, but also in the lives of those around us. We are not victims, but victors in this battle, thanks to the guidance of the Creator and our own strength. Your voice, your inner strength, and your courage will help you overcome all difficulties and defeat evil in your life. Remember, evil cannot defeat you when you have recognized it, controlled yourself, and kept your faith. Every step you take, every courageous decision you make, will not be just a small victory, but a big step on the path to conquering life. Always be alert and act with confidence. Evil will never be able to defeat you when you keep your faith, believe in yourself, and walk in your own power. Thank you very much for listening.